Hello everyone, Shaun Murray here, and I am currently sitting in my workshop, and behind me are a bunch of my Hyperlight Pro Model wakeboards dating all the way back to 1997. That was my first year, the foam and the honeycomb. This is 98, and today we're gonna fast forward, rewind, but we're gonna go back to, this is 2006. So all these graphics have some sort of story, so we're gonna talk about that. And then we're also gonna pull out some old detention footage. If you've been around the sport for a long time, you know that was originally my VHS instructional series and then turned into Detention 2012. Today we're gonna pull out Detention 2012, how to do a back roll. I was looking at the content, I'm like, this still holds like some ground in like being a good instructional of how to how to stick your first heel side back roll on a wakeboard. And there are actually two boards I was riding in there. 2006. The reason I really like this graphic, two things. See, this says Hyperlight. It's a little bit abstract, but here's why. Now it says Murray. Crazy. Can see it both directions. That's pretty cool. So the artist who created this logo, it's called an ambigram, I believe, and it was a student of mine back around this time, and her name was Jeannie. She was a school teacher in Michigan. On the bottom of this, there's a hand-drawn map of different things in there, and you'll see Carrie Forest, Clarador, my mom is named Clara. So there's a bunch of items in this map that I drew that mean something to me or the artist that I work with at Hyperlight. One of the other boards that appears in the video that we're about to watch is this one here. No, I don't have this tattooed on my knuckles. If you look really closely in this graphic, it says Carrie. It's my wife. We just had our 20-year anniversary. All right, Detention 2012, the heel side back roll. Let's start out by noting that my board shorts, these are not the longest I ever wore. Here we go.
All right, you're ready for the heel side back roll. It's generally the first flip that most people are gonna do, but if you feel more comfortable on a trampoline doing like a standing, if you do a backflip off of a diving board or standing off the edge of the boat or on a trampoline, if you do that, then a tantrum might be the flip for you. But right now we're gonna go through the heel side.
So I said that the tantrum might be good for you if you like that backflip off of a diving board or boat or something like that. Tantrums, yes, but there's actually more technique to that. So now what I teach people is the toe side, one wake back roll, holding on with one hand, and that I have a lot more success. It's just a lot less technique that you have to worry about timing and things like that. Still some technique, but definitely use the toe side back roll for first flips for people to get them that confidence.
Back roll. You're gonna wanna start an approach same distance as just a heel side wake to wake jump, not too far, not too close. Start a very easy progressive edge because edging through the wake with the hard edge is where your flip comes from. It's not like on a trampoline where you throw your body for the heel side back roll. It's actually, the flip is done by the board edging through the wake, creating that pressure, pushing the board out from underneath you. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take a nice easy edge in, save your hard edge for the wake. As you get closer to the wake, you're increasing your edge, increasing your angle cutting through the wake. So as you're getting up, going up through the wake, you're on your hardest edge. And as you're on your hardest edge, you're gonna be shifting your weight to your back foot while you look up over your left shoulder. That's what's going to send your body into a flip, is getting your edge through the wake, getting onto your back foot. A real big common mistake that people make is that they try to get to the wake and they throw their body and they do it too soon, and they shouldn't even be throwing their body. The flip is done by the board edging through the wake. So make sure you save your edge for the wake.
Watch the angle of the board here.
As you're going off the top of the wake, you're gonna have two hands on the handle, and if you can keep two hands on all the way through, you're gonna have a lot more control of your spin and a lot more of a solid landing. So try to keep two hands on as long as you can. Some people let go with their one hand just as they finish. Sometimes I do that.
I also want to note here, I don't necessarily talk about it too much. Maybe I do in a second. It's been a while. But it's really important to keep that edge going up and away. That's where that pressure is going to carry you around. And you'll notice that front foot, my left foot, whatever your lead foot is, up and away.
Just like a heel side wake to wake jump, if you keep two hands on longer, the more control you'll have the landing. As you're about upside down, I want you to do your absolute best to start looking for the landing. I know when you're sending yourself around the first handful of times, it's just gonna be an absolute blur and you're not gonna see what's happening. But the sooner you start to see the landing, the sooner you're gonna start landing, you're actually gonna start landing this thing.
Watch any technical athlete, like if they're on a snowboard or a skateboard or BMX, even if they're doing these big spins, what they want to do is they want to find the landing as soon as they can lock their eyes onto it. Sometimes they'll catch it once and then catch it on the next time, but what you'll see is their head gets still. And so when you're coming off the top of the wake, there's only a split second that you don't get to see something. So notice that my head's not necessarily looking at a specific thing, but it's the same place as when you're going in for a wake jump. Just look where you're going. And as you come off the top, then your eyes are going to start looking for that landing. And when you see my head get still, I've spotted the landing. So watch just for that split second where my eyes aren't seeing something, I'm immediately looking for it.
Thing. It's just real important to spot your landing as soon as you can. As you're coming around, if you feel like you don't have enough speed, handle control is what's going to help you out here. Is what I mean by speed. If you're not flipping fast enough, if you take two hands and you pull that handle into your waist, it's going to scoop the board up underneath you. If you feel like you're spinning too fast, letting the handle away is where you can slow yourself down. It's kind of like a diver going off a diving board. The tighter they tuck, the faster they'll spin, or if they let out, then it's going to slow down their spin. Our handle is kind of our tuck in wakeboard.
What I'm really referring to there, and I've learned to explain it as your connection. When you are riding, you are connected. If that rope is getting away from you, essentially your hips getting away from the handle, you are disconnecting. So if you want to slow down the back roll, literally just start to let your connection grow a little bit, and that will slow you down. You need to speed it up, scoot your hips into the handle, and that will get the board back underneath you. Connection.
When you land this, I want you to make sure that you're landing with the direction that you took off the wake. A lot of times people try to follow the boat too much, and that's where they're gonna mess up and they're gonna slip out or over-rotate the flip. So when you land, think about how you land a heel side wake to wake jump. You don't stop at the top of the second wake. A lot of people do that. So I want you to make sure that you're flipping and continuing that direction. You can do that a lot of times by looking where you want to go.
Runway, not a helicopter landing pad. You have momentum going across in the same way that if you're doing a wake-to-wake jump, you don't land and follow the boat's direction. You go in the direction of your momentum. Very important. So think, you're on a runway landing, not a helipad. That can also soften up your landing because when you land in that direction, you want to absorb that impact, which makes the line tension ease in much easier. I have a video on how to soften your landings if you want to look that up.
The problem that you're having right now is probably one of the most common mistakes that people make, and that's throwing the flip too early. Two things cause that. One, you're flattening out before you even get to the wake, and you're not edging through the wake. And so what happens, you get to the wake, you feel like there's nothing there, so you have to throw your body to get yourself to flip, like a trampoline flip. I don't want to see you do that. I want you to make sure that you're edging through the wake and relying on that edge to send you into the flip. When you feel that for the first time, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's really going to take some commitment on your part to edge through the wake, wait for the top of the wake, and then start to shift your weight over that back foot. Congratulations, made your first flip.
Well, there you have it. And hopefully that has helped you. And for me, this is something I wanted to do just to talk about the history of the wakeboards and some of the shapes, and also very grateful for Hyperlight. It's been an amazing ride. And the fact that I get to create content and help you hopefully have a good time on the water. If you guys want to learn how to foil, if you want to learn about surfing or some of the trips we do, that's a bunch of things on there you can find. And I do look at those questions and comments. So if you guys want to put those below, I want to just say thank you for the folks that like and share this. When the video gets shared, YouTube pushes it out that much more. And the more people we can get active out on the water, I think that physical health leads to mental health and ultimately spiritual health. If you guys don't subscribe, maybe consider doing that. You can also hit the notification bell so you know when videos go live. And no matter what you're doing, always enjoy your ride. Peace.